And then 3 times 3 is 9i squared. But don't forget that I squared just changes sign, give you negative 9. That means that 4 plus 3i squared is the same thing as 16 plus. And you add these two together, giving you 24i. 24i minus 9. When you combine like terms, you should get 7 plus 24i. Let's do it again. Over here, we got our box. 6, 5i, 6 minus 5i, 36, 30, negative 30i. And this is positive 30i. And this would be negative 25i squared, which changes the sign to just positive 25. So you have 36 plus 25, because when you add these two together, you get 0i, which we don't need to write. And that gives you 60. 60. $61. Sorry. So you make the box. 2i, 3 minus 2i, that is 6, negative 4i, 3i, negative 2i squared, changes the sign to 2, 6, and then you add these two together, gives you negative 1i, which we can just write as minus I, plus 2, making it 8 minus I. And so, as you can tell from this one, when you have the same thing, but you have opposite signs in the middle, it cancels out the I or the middle term. And they're called complex conjugates. And we try to do that sometimes because we want to put things in standard form and they don't have an I as in the denominator. So we need to multiply by the complex conjugate, which would be the opposite sign of the denominator. To keep the fraction equal, we're going to do the same thing in the numerator. Because when you multiply like this, it's just 1. So it doesn't change the value. And remember, I do the box method. So the numerator would be 3, 2i, and 5, negative I. 15, negative 3i, 10i, negative 2i squared, which just becomes positive 2. When you add these two together, it gives you 7i. That means that your numerator is 15 plus 7i plus 2. And then you do the same thing for your denominator. 5i, 5 minus I. But remember, the middle terms cancel, so this is 25 minus I squared, which just becomes negative 1, changing the sign to 1, making the denominator 26. When you combine like terms, you have 17 plus 7i divided by 26. So don't forget, we can't have i's in the bottom, so we try to do the complex conjugate in the denominator, so that would be 1 minus 2i. And then the numerator has to be the same, so we can keep the fraction balanced. And I do the box method. So 6, 2i, and 1 minus 2i, 6, negative 12i, 2i, negative 4i squared. So we just change the sign to 4. When you add these two together, we have negative 10i, making the numerator 6 minus 10i plus 4. And then the denominator, 1 and 2i and 1 minus 2i. The middle terms are supposed to cancel, so that'd be 1. Negative 4i squared, which turns to a positive. 1 plus 4 is 5. then you just simplify that. Let me write this all the way down here. 10 minus 10i to combine like terms divided by 5. If it is divisible, you're supposed to simplify that fraction. So this is really 2 minus 2i, because we divide it this way and then that way.